Now we have zoning matters.
I think, can I speak to that, Jim?
Sure.
And you can add if you wish. I think I'm just going to pretty much speak generally and not specifically here, but I think that I think we have a zoning administrator that tries to stay on top of things, and I think he does a pretty good job of staying on top of things. And I think that we have inconsistencies in the level of compliance with some of our zoning regulations that are causing the zoning administrator a little bit of anxiety and wondering just where he is and what he should do. And I wouldn't be surprised if at sometime in the near future he might want to come in and speak with us. And I think that right now, last time at the last meeting we left it that as I understood it, that Jim and I had authority to, or we're authorized to get in touch with Rob Wilmington on a specific matter. Well, there are other. There's at least one other matter too, and I guess what I'd like is a reauthorization for somebody, and I don't care if it's me. It might be better if there are two people involved, as a matter of fact, to get in touch with Rob and ask him what road do you usually end up traveling down if you take certain actions to support your zoning.
Basically, it's you're saying to enforce local ordinances.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I'll make that motion because, you know, again, we've got a situation where a couple of our local businesses are operating according to different, well, at least in this one in this one issue, one business is adhering to the ordinance, and another one is not, and the one that is adhering is getting a little grouchy. Just
Well,
to be
Jim,
Yep.
you should take a drive out that driveway to the one that you think is adhering.
Right. Right. I hear you.
I did tonight.
Did you?
Yeah. There's some that are in compliance and there's some that's not. So. All right, so did you want to vote for a couple of you guys to talk to legal on this, or?
I'd like to second Jim's motion.
All right, all those in favor of the motion?
Can you repeat the motion, please?
Motion is that we basically, the select board reauthorizes, and let's say Tim and me, to consult with our town attorney, Rob Wilmington, regarding enforcement of local ordinances with regard to zoning.
I guess
And
I'd
zoning.
like to be more specific. I mean, I guess I'd like to either meet with, more specifics. I really don't know what you're talking about. And I think to have a blanket, we go back to our corner, Woodcock Farm. I mean, is that one of the issues? That's been hanging over our head for years. There are lots of things that we have that are not compliance with zoning. And I just would like to know which ones you think need discussing, and, you know, how we apply one over the other and what's determining. I think maybe a meeting with Will to kind of go over some of these things, that would be helpful. I'm confused as to what you want to talk to Rob about. Is it general, or do you have some very specific cases you want to bring up with him? And what cases are those? Because I'm not really aware of what you really want to talk to him about.
Have you seen Will's correspondence regarding zoning issues with some of the stores in town? They were sent out about a week ago.
Yes, I have, from issues from
That's what
signage
we're talking
to equipment to, are we talking a signage? There have been some dealing with equipment, what constitutes a home business, you know, there's several he's sent.
It's a
What's your
signage.
understanding as to what's your understanding as to what compliance has resulted from those letters?
Right.
Right? Oh, okay.
I think so. But as I said, I think we've received several. Wasn't there another issue on Piper Hill Road with equipment that wasn't supposed to be? There's a right of way, and how is that being handled? There have been other situations where landscapers have had excessive equipment where they weren't supposed to have it, but that has been kind of arbitrarily decided as well. And so I just curious as to, is this, so you just want to talk to Rob about this particular signage issue, or are we talking the way the motion was phrased about compliance issues? And we've gotten a lot of correspondence from Will over the months as far as questions about how to enforce or these compliance issues. So I just wanted to narrow it down.
Yeah, it's specifically, I think, my motion for the moment deals with the signage issues.
Okay.
There may be some other issues.
Okay.
There may be some other issues that come up in the future, maybe soon, maybe not so soon. But that's not what we're looking to get an opinion on.
You don't think we should have kind of that this is a little bigger? How do we enforce zoning irregularities or infractions of zoning? It could be signage, it could be equipment. I mean,
Where would you go to get that answer, Annie?
Pardon?
Where would you go to get that answer?
Well, I'd have a list and then go to how do we enforce zoning irregularities or lack of compliance?
And I think the way you really should approach this is take a little bit at a time, not take the whole book all at once.
Yeah, we're going to do this.
Okay.
I think we're looking at doing this issue by issue, and we'll start with this simple one, see where it leads us, and then, you know, deal with the other ones sort of case by case. That's kind of the way that I've been thinking about approaching it.
Okay, just a comment is that I know when this has been done before, it's like, well, why are you picking on me for this lack of compliance when so-and-so is not in compliance on other zoning issues? So I just want to say, gee, do we have a policy as how we enforce zoning irregularities or lack of compliance? That it is a little bit more, that it isn't quite so arbitrary as what we pick and choose to enforce.
You're very familiar with the junkyard issue. that we've been trying to deal with for years. And you know, the barriers to enforcement, they're really substantial. The case that we're talking about here with the signage is much simpler, much more
I
clear
agree.
cut.
I totally agree.
And trying to join all these issues together in a master list, you know, you'll get drowned under layers of nuance and complication. And we're just trying to deal with this single issue, learn what we learn, see if we can resolve it, and then move on to some other issue, if necessary, that we think we can solve.